Hello everybody, I am TychoCelchuuu and welcome to a Company of Heroes 2 shoutcast being simultaneously live streamed on Twitch and recorded for YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch, welcome. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome. We have a match between Sex Pistol playing as the Soviet forces and Nozlo playing as the OKW. They are currently playing the highest ranked auto match game, which we are spectating. Thank you, Alec, for adding spectating years too late to the video game. And I'm ready to go on this map, which I am kind of a big fan of. There's a lot of buildings in the middle, which can get pretty exciting. And oh, this was the match that my previous shoutcast was on too. So unfortunately for people watching those back to back, it's going to be a little tiring. We have two Sturm Pioneer opening, which I've been seeing more and more lately since the latest patch. They are now faster to reinforce and faster to build, so you can get that first Sturm Pio squad out in the beginning of the game much faster. That's super important, and also not bleed as much manpower. Unfortunate Sturm Pios lose a model real fast in that fight, which means it's not going to be worth it to stand sort of point blank and fire at the church, which normally it would kind of be worth it, because you notice there's only 3 windows over here, so at max you're only going to be shot by 3 of those conscripts. And at point blank you're going to get pretty much 100% hits, minus whatever the building cover takes away. So you can do some real damage real fast with those Sturm Pioneers, but when you're down to 3, you want to play a little more cautiously, not bother doing that. And notice also these conscripts know that it's still going to be a tough fight just against 3 Sturm Pioneers, so they're hopping in and out of the building. Something that's, sorry for the cough, slightly more difficult now. I went through and actually read the patch notes, because I decided if I'm going to be playing this game and casting this game, I really ought to know some fucking thing about the game. And so they changed how buildings work. Now it takes longer to get in, longer to get out, and so that can be kind of annoying. So we have the Sturm Pio flank coming in, the double Sturm Pios plus the Volksraiders in the building firing over there. This Maxim's going to take a while to suppress. They did buff the Maxim suppression a little bit. Oof, look at that. They're going to maybe lose some people. Ooh, they didn't chase. It's interesting the Sturm Pios did not bother chasing. That's a difficult chase. You have to go around the hedge. But I would have thought when they're that low health, you have a really good chance of getting some critical hits and knocking some of those models down. So would have expected that sort of thing. But anyways, we're down to standard 2 Volksraiders coming out after the Sturm Pios. No Sturm Pio spam or anything. So yeah, they buffed the Maxim suppression a little bit, but not a lot. And when you're behind green cover at range like that, you don't have to worry about getting suppressed too early. The OKW doing better job capping the map in the beginning. You see they have a bit more map control, but there's no fuel yet for the OKW, so the Soviets sitting at plus 17 fuel income versus plus 16, this despite the OKW having more control of the map. Somebody in Twitch chat says, "Don't lie, Tycho, you never knew anything about games." I resent that. I knew everything about the original Company of Heroes. I feel like I was a really good caster for that. It made more sense. Also, there was more arcane bullshit to know. Target tables. Anyone remember that? That guy was bouncing around like he don't care. So what did we have out here? Just Fox Raiders. I was hearing the machine gun. I'm dying. Dying from the inside. I'm taking care of 2 cats for friends right now, and I'm also allergic to cats, so this may be the source of my imminent death. It's okay, everybody's got to die sometime. So we have 2 Maxims out from the Soviets trying to recreate the Maxim spam that was all the rage back in the days of yore. I'm a little sad because conscript spam is my favorite thing. That's my main strategy, and it has been since the day Company Heroes 2 came out. Spam a bunch of conscripts and spam a bunch of T-34s. I've been doing that since day 1, and that's why I'm top 10 North American on the ladder, if you don't count the people who are ranked higher than me. So I can highly recommend that. We do have these 2 Maxims set up in a sort of X shape, which is important if you're a fan of the X-Men. I can't say I'm a huge fan of the X-Men. I'm not really a comic book guy, and the movies I found to be almost universally mediocre to terrible, except for Logan, which I think is a masterpiece, and will go down in the annals of film history as the best performance Patrick Stewart has ever given, I think. Something might be slipping my mind. So OKW now has like just really tremendous map control. I don't know why the tactical map you open up with a little arrow button. Like, I guess that arrow is supposed to be like, look, this small thing will go up and get larger. So it's got a big arrow. But anyways, the UI design in this game has never made a lot of sense anyways. Yeah, I don't really have anywhere to go with that observation. Ooh, a flamethrower completed. So obviously very useful on this map because of all these buildings in the center. A great way to dislodge your opponent from the buildings. Slightly less useful outside because you notice all this red cover on all these roads. That is very effective versus flamethrowers. You hop yourself into some red cover and the flamethrower is not going to do as much as it would do in other situations. So some cat and mouse from the Soviet player who's really paying the price for not being very mobile. Getting all these maxims means it's going to be a little difficult to cap. Resorting to using, notice, a maxim to cap over on the right because that's what you got to do to start getting map control back. Got this battle group headquarters upgraded with the field medics, which is very important because you want to keep those string piles alive just because they're faster to reinforce and cheaper to reinforce. Or just faster to reinforce. I think they're cheaper to reinforce too. I'm already forgetting the patch notes that I read not too long ago. But just because they're faster to reinforce doesn't mean you want them dying. And it's important to get them out there at full health so they're able to win some fights. It's not just about not losing models, it's also about the combat effectiveness. Because when you lose two people like this, then you have to retreat and you can't keep dumping damage on these conscripts. And if you can't keep dumping damage on the conscripts, then what really is life? Why even bother showing up to fight a match if you can't dump some damage into some conscripts? Someone answer that. That wasn't a rhetorical question. I want to know why you would ever show up for life if you're not dumping damage into a conscript. So these guys really not earning their paycheck at all. They're just hanging back. This guy, nobody's even shooting. Would it kill you guys to step up and stand in the place where that guy... I guess they don't want to die. That's the rule there. Really, they should at least be body blocking for that guy. Take some shots so that the Maxim doesn't get decrewed. But whatever, that was a really unfortunate fail for the Maxim there. When you're against Volksgrenadiers in green cover at range with STG-44s, the Maxim can't do shit. Whereas, meanwhile, if you're this close with no cover, because they don't get... Well, I guess they probably get yellow cover from the bushes. Directional cover. Bushes being omnidirectional cover, right? That's the way they work. They don't get the green cover from the... wall. That's a good tip. Just for the company heroes 2 noobs. I know you're out there. They Humble Bundle just gave it free to a bunch of people, so a lot of people are just getting into the game. It's a good time to be getting into the game because they just patched it so nobody knows what they're doing. Cover is directional, which means if you're on this side of cover, like in green cover, people shooting from this side, you get the cover bonus. People shooting from this side or from this side, you don't. That's how it works. Born Confused in my Twitch chat says, Patrick Stewart, narrator in Ted, all-time great performance, lol. I did not see Ted. I think that's the one with the CGI teddy bear. Which has a dirty mouth. I am a sophisticated gentleman, and that means I don't truck with that bullshit. I only watch movies for assholes. That's not quite true. But it's closer to the truth than it is to not the truth. So right now it's just a clusterfuck in all these buildings. I can barely keep track of what's going on. But the important thing to keep an eye on is this flamethrower. Once it gets in range, notice that machine gun's health just drops instantly to half, and then drops instantly to a quarter, and then one more burst may just simply wipe the squad. Yep, that was basically a squad wipe. So the lesson there is fire bad if you're in a building, because a building is like green cover times 10, and the more cover you have, the more damage fire does, just like in real life. So we have an incendiary grenade attempting to replicate the efficacy of that thing. It turns out to work very well because that was a slight miss micro on the Soviet player side. Shut the fuck up. Slight miss micro on the Soviet player side, getting out of the wrong side of the building. You always, of course, want to click on the building, click on the unit, click on the exit button, then click in the direction that you want them to exit out the building. They'll take the closest door, and this building has a door right here and right here. I don't know which one they'd use. Which one do you think they'll use? Place your bets now, and hopefully we'll see it happen later in the match. Post a YouTube comment if you're posting this on YouTube. Do you think they're going to exit from the left-hand brown door or the... I guess it depends where you click. If you click here, they'll go out the brown door on the left. If you click here, they'll go out the gray door on the right. What are these booms? What is falling? It's got to be this bombarding, right? Yeah, this just used its bombard ability, which was recently buffed in the patch notes to be cheaper and to fire fewer shells. The patch notes are like, we think the barrage ability on the ZIS 3 wasn't good enough, so we buffed it to emphasize its sort of anti-infantry role. And then they reduced the number of shells it fires from like 9 to 6 or something. But that was just to balance it for lowering the cost and doing some other stuff. Lowering the cooldown too, I think, which is why I can sort of instantly fire. We lose a conscript squad on the retreat. That is a squad wipe. Set off the alarms. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Sorry for that. Squad wipe, alarm. I need to set myself up with one of those cool soundboards that all the cool Twitch streamers have and all the cool YouTubers have. I bet Dr. Disrespect has a soundboard. People on my stream were talking about him the other day. He's like a guy with a mustache. That's the extent to which I know him, but they were saying like adultery or something. Dodd in Twitch chat says, is it really directional in CoH2? I seem to recall it wasn't when it came out. Once you were in green, you're in cover from all sides. I don't think that's right, but if it was ever right, it's wrong now. It's directional. Except bushes. Pretty sure bushes are omnidirectional. Because as we know in real life, a bush will block a bullet coming from anywhere. That's unquestionable. That's why the Bushmaster is such a great gun, because it can shoot through bushes. Bushmaster's a gun, right? I'm just not just making that up. I have a telephone. I can look this up on my phone. But I shouldn't look it up on my phone. Why? Because if I look it up on the phone, I'll be paying less attention to the game, and you'll be getting less bang for your buck. Because I know you paid a lot of money to watch this cast, and you don't want me to be distracted. That would be extremely rude and not at all thoughtful about your support, your monetary support, which is so important to me. So keep giving those $600,000 a year. I really rely on that for my gold-plated bidets. Yes, I said bidets, plural. I need a lot. You can only use them once, and then they're fouled, and you have to sell them on Craigslist. And you don't get a lot of money for a bidet on Craigslist. For a used bidet on Craigslist. Let me be clear. Brand new bidets on Craigslist, poof, they sell, bam, like hotcakes. Used bidets, not so much. So the ZIS3 Sex Pistol definitely got the memo that this bombard thing got buffed, because it seems like it's just been bombarding 24/7. We do have a machine gun duel here, which is, I guess, serving to keep the machine gun from firing on these things, and also serving to keep the machine gun lit up in the fog of war, so the ZIS can bombard. Man, yeah, those guys stuck around for a while. You get a medal, and you get a medal for being a useful person, and you get a medal for getting shoved along by the Maxim on the retreat. And finally we have, what a weird time to move up the flamethrower. If someone can explain to me why the flamethrower only finally moved up when the machine gun was done. Oop, that was a squad wipe. When the machine, and that was not a squad wipe, that's almost a squad wipe. If someone wants to tell me why the flamethrower only hopped out of the church right then, ooh, we have some Obersoldaten, which I'll talk about later, because those were buffed in the patch, or changed in the patch, too. People in Twitch chat are talking about Bushmaster as a manufacturer of assault rifles, so that's great, AR-15s. So yeah, I don't know why those flamethrower guys didn't try and move up on this earlier. Maybe they were worried that this MG would stop firing at the MG and start firing at them, because that could be really deadly, but nothing would have stopped the MG from doing that in the first place when they moved out of the church when they eventually did. So it's a big mystery to me. We have a Rakettenwerfer moved up to try and combat this T-70, which honestly hasn't been doing a lot. I haven't even mentioned it verbally. I've just been hoping that the people watching this cast are either not blind, or you're blind and you have very good ears, which is probably the case if you're blind, that's what I've heard, and relying on you people to notice that the T-70 was there. It does only have 2 kills to its name. We have some Storm Pioneers hopping in here, I guess just for fun. This is really not the place you want to be. 2 Maxims firing, 1 at medium range is going to mean a lot of damage. We've already lost 2 Storm Pioneers in here. Another 2 are going to go down pretty soon if they don't hop out. 1 more is down, and ooh, that Maxim actually got beat up by those Obersoldaten. Nice bombard from ZIS-3 coming in, and that pushes them out. Nice wiping one of those people. Ooh, they lost another one getting into the building. I don't know how that even happened. That seems to have been physically impossible. Maybe it was splash damage from the ZIS-3. I don't think it was. I think it was some sort of bullet curving around like in the movie Wanted, which is a bullshit movie. Horrible, horrible movie. I don't even want it to ever be mentioned again on my YouTube channel or in my Twitch chat. So please never again suggest Wanted as something that should be discussed by us. Obersoldaten, I think they dropped the cost for the squad down from 400 to 300 and basically didn't do much else, so I guess that was a buff. I think they made them a bit weaker, but not. Hush kitty, hush kitty, your dinner time is not for another 24 minutes. I know. Yeah, I don't know what the German was doing, hopping into the building. Whoa, cat, that's the microphone. Careful with that. I don't know what the German player was doing. No Slow was doing, hopping into that building. First with the Sturm Pioneers and then with the Obersoldaten for about 10 seconds before they realized... it wasn't even 10 seconds. It was like 1 second the Obersoldaten were in that building. Born Confused in my Twitch chat says Duck Song OP in response to Tacticon, who said, was that the Duck Song? I don't know what that means, so probably no. Where's the Maxim firing from? The bell tower. I love that. Or the steeple. I don't think it's a bell tower unless it's got a bell, and I don't see a bell. Do you think, folks, think there's a bell in there? Place your bets right now if you think there's a bell in that part of the church. If you're on YouTube, please post a comment. Another light vehicle out from the Soviets, which is going to be kind of unfortunate when this Panzer IV rolls in and says, like, what's up, I'm a Panzer IV. I really ought to have been talking about what's going on this part of the map, and on this part of the map much more. It's just so easy on this map to spend so much time focusing on the middle, which is always so exciting, so much shit going on. We're getting wiped on the retreat. That guy is booking it! He is running fast. I rewatched, don't ask me why I did this. My movie cred is going to be in the fucking pits after this. I rewatched Captain America Civil War today, and there was this scene where the Winter Soldier and Captain America and Black Panther are all running really fast, so that guy reminded me of those people in that movie, but less heroic, so... because they were running towards the fight. I guess the Winter Soldier was running away, but nobody cares about it. So the Panzer IV, I don't know if it's purposely doing this, or... yeah, it's got to be purposefully doing this, trying to knock the corners off the building. That used to be a way to destroy buildings. Wow, the 50 cal on top is doing some real damage. Used to be a way to destroy a building's health bar. You would just drive a tank around it and knock all the destroyable shit on the first floor, and that would do massive damage to the building. That no longer works, but you can still blow open holes. And I'm not sure if that actually affects anything except giving infantry more positions to fire on, fire out of the building from. Somehow, Jesus, what is going on? Maxim getting wiped by these Volksgrenadiers. Oh my god, there's so much chaos. These guys almost died. I wanted to talk about the Panzer IV. The Panzer IV somehow scared off by the Su-76. I guess because the ZIS was repositioned, so that's not mysterious anymore. Narfwack shows up in Twitch chat, says, "Hey there, baby." Born Confused says, "A duck walked up to a lemonade stand," and that's probably the setup for a joke. It's going to be 20 minutes before I look over at Twitch chat and we get the resolution of that joke. But I hope you are as excited as I am for where that's going to end up. These conscripts, look how far here. Can we go do this? So look, if you click on the Fog of War, you notice with these conscripts in this house, you get a pretty good vision. Like you can see all the way out to here, this uncapped point, all the way out to here, this capped point even, all the way out to here until the hedges block your sight. Oh, I clicked on the other plan. I was like, what happened to the Fog of War? Why did it flip over? It's because I clicked on the Germans. I'm an idiot. Okay, so yeah, you get some pretty good sight when you hop in one of these houses. So that's probably why, well, that, and plus you keep your opponent out of the house. So that's probably why those conscripts were basically playing Sacrificial Lamb in that thing, taking all that fire from these double upgraded STG-44s with infrared sights. Bam! Fucking Call of Duty unlock loot crate sort of bullshit that you bolt onto your guns. Nowhere near the craziest thing in this game, but definitely in the top 50. And nobody knows what to do. So this Su-76 and this ZIS-3 have sort of been butt buddies as soon as the Panzer IV showed up, and for good reason. The Soviet player doesn't have... Ooh, this T-70 is really reversing out of some shit, for really good reasons. As soon as the Panzer IV has shown up, the Soviet player has not had any AT to combat it, except the Su-76, which sort of popped up concurrent with the Panzer IV, and the ZIS, which of course had been there for quite a while earlier. And one or the other on their own, they're never going to kill the Panzer IV, and let alone kill the Panzer IV. Frankly, they could get taken out by the Panzer IV. It could circle strafe the ZIS and just run down the Su-76. But together, they form an unbreakable union, which is potentially not going to immediately die to the Panzer IV. Still kind of at risk. You can't just sit back and rest on your laurels, but it's at least a potential way to fight back against the thing. And so the German player is pretty much very well apprised, I think, of the whole situation on the map, pretty much knows what the opponent's force makeup looks like, and so we see this really excellent push on sort of all parts of the map. Just some infantry over on the right where only infantry are needed, and then a Panzer IV spearheading through the middle and on the left to push the Soviet front line back and then advance with some infantry, and I don't know how the Schuh mine hasn't blown up yet. So the Soviet player is really on the back foot. Dodd in Twitch chat saying, LMAO, the STG-44 infrared pack must have been fun to run around with. 2.25 kilograms for the sight and 13.5 kilograms for the battery. Yeah, but you were so cool. You felt like someone shooting ray guns from the future. So that's totally worth it. So we have a second ZIS out from the Soviets. That's, I suppose, going to help them get back into the game, because at this point Soviets really on the back foot. Germans, this Panzer IV is putting in a lot of work, only 7 kills, but what's important is that number one, it keeps the Soviet player from this just dumping everything into anti-infantry and getting some infantry superiority all over the map. The German player is able to use these Obersoldaten to do some exciting stuff, because the Soviet player has basically just had to dump their tech into anti-infantry stuff. And number two, it just helped kill the Su-76 with the American version. Number three, it's just it's more powerful than the Soviet vehicles that were out. The T-70, which died earlier, or no, it didn't die earlier. It almost died earlier and then retreated. Boom! That was what, bundle grenade? They changed the bundle grenade, I think. Made it more consistent in its damage output and less powerful. So it's less likely to wipe squads, but also it'll do damage at larger range, I think, is the plan. Maybe they only did that to the frangible grenade, or some... I can't remember all the fucking names of all the fucking grenades in this video game. These Vet 3 combat engineers may be going down. Tune in next week to find... I'm just kidding, they're safe. And then another 5 kilograms for the gun, and add ammo to that. And Narfwack says, has the OKW doctrine changed? I can't remember the last time I saw him use it. Can't remember the last time... Okay, I should be watching the game. I can't remember the last time I saw someone use it. Then again, I don't really follow this game much. Has this OKW doctrine changed? Nope, this is the same as it's always been. Okay, Soviet players' only win condition here is blow up the tank with these things, and then get some good bombards in on the Obersoldaten. And, I don't know, send the T-70 to, when does it get strategic? Okay, it already has it. So send the T-70 to cap stuff on the left, maybe that's the plan. That'll send the Panzer IV on a wild goose chase, and that'll give you some room to claw your way back with infantry, I suppose, and set up your AT guns in places where they can catch the Panzer IV. Interesting AT grenade there. I didn't notice that AT gun. I'm an idiot, so that was a good AT grenade. It has a chance to catch the Panzer IV. Luckily for the German player, there's another Panzer IV. That's where the teching went, folks. It went into another Panzer IV, and the German player sitting on a nice 80 fuel. Soviet player has yet to pick a doctrine. What do we got? Anti-tank. This is one that I go into battle with. I always take mechanized support tactics. Armored assault. Ooh, we could have an IS-2 maybe coming out. Kind of a cool looking thing. And shock rifle. I always bring this one too. This shock rifle I think is my favorite. I like shock troops. I like anti-tank cloaking. I like incendiary artillery barrage. I like the IS-2, and I don't hate the KV-8. I kind of do hate the KV-8, but I don't want the KV-8 to know. So please don't tell the KV-8 that I hate it. That Maxim is dead. So it's looking like the Soviet players on their last legs here. There is 200 fuel, so actually no, I take it back, because the Soviet player can just literally click this button and buy an IS-2 once they've got the manpower and the fuel. And the fuel is not too far away. Your friend Rogers Lee has started watching. What's up, Rogers? Welcome to Twitch chat. And who else? Is win condition for the Soviet if German player has medical emergencies, says Born Confused. No. Is that supposed to be a joke? I don't know. So here we have, ooh, this is going to get dangerous. 2 AT guns walking away in red cover. They kind of want to turn around and set up, but they're sort of doing a weird delta split. You go left, I'll go right. Who knows what's going to happen? There are 2 Panzer IVs on the field, remember, and this one has been repaired. Oop, and this one has been repaired. I don't know. They've all been repaired. They're all ready to go. This AT gun really needs to reposition. I guess it wants to catch something that goes to the right, but that's not going to happen. They're both in the middle. You know this now. The Maxim has been taken out of the church. That is definitely proof that Jesus exists because that steeple is levitating. Thank you very much. Only the power of God could do that. Bless you and have a good, blessed 2018. God, if I never hear another Maxim firing again, it's going to be too soon. Why would you hop into that building that you just incendiary grenaded? I guess you didn't. That was... I think... Is it on fire? Can we tell if it's on fire? It doesn't look like it's on fire. Why are you standing on the shelves? Jesus. Oof, that was a Hail Mary for that Maxim. So the player really wants that Maxim back. A relic should allow riflemen to ride tanks, says Green Cat of Meow. That's the end of the thing. If you want your soldiers riding tanks, I recommend purchasing the excellent video game Men of War Assault Squad 2. Can't recommend it enough. We may lose a Vet 3 Fox Radio over here due to distraction. That was... was that the conscripts planted a trip mine and it just went off? Do the Fox Raiders launch that when they retreat? Is there some crazy bullshit I don't know about because I have never played this video game in my life? Oh, we've got a Doctrine chosen. And we've got the IS-2 ready. Look, we only need... Oh, just kidding. We don't need anything. Click that button. Yeah, yeah, I have psychic powers. I have psychic powers. The other day I almost won a game where I bought an IS-2. And I fucked up my opponent's Panzer IVs, and then I got too greedy with the IS-2, drove it too far, delved too deep, met a Balrog, or in this case, anti-tank, which are basically the same. The Balrog was a metaphor for anti-tank. I think Tolkien scholars are generally agreed upon that. And then my IS-2 died, and that was the end of that. So we also have an IL-2 Sturmovik coming in. Very good flight sim from everything I've heard. I actually never... really played it because it was a bit too hardcore for me, and I've also been more of a space sim guy than a World War II flight sim guy. I should try and get into IL-2 Sturmovik. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Should I get into IL-2? This is going to be ugly for the Panzer IV. No way you're getting out of that. IS-2 gonna get you. Oh, misses the shot, so it's down to a sliver of health, but the IS-2 can just crush these hedges and come on in, and it's got a 50 cal on top too, so it's a full-on thing. So the Soviet player is now back in black with a vengeance. The cat wants some food. Hi cat, do you want some food? I bet that's a yes. I'd bet anything that's a yes. And now very brave Panzer IV drives up. Where did I was looking at the cat, now I don't know where the AT gun went. There it is. Slightly back. K-Pen in Twitch chat says, wow, seeing a ghost. Hopefully I can be less ghost-like in the future. K-Pen says, you cast 2v2 matches, Tycho? The answer is no, those are for scrubs. Born Confused says, K-Pen, how can he cast 2v2 when he can't keep up with 1v1? Easy, just don't mention the stuff I miss. It's like I didn't miss it. Frankly, I think I catch a lot of stuff when I'm not casting. when I'm not busy talking to cats and reading Twitch chat. Oh man. So rear armor hit. IS-2 is now rethinking life, and with his buddy the T-70 pulling a little back, can't resist popping off another excellent shot on those Obersoldaten and then turning to the right for Lord knows what stupid reason. And now we have a very risky repair, because if these Obersoldaten hopped out of that building, walked forward 4 feet, they could probably in one burst take out like 3 of those engineers. I feel like I say this literally every time I cast a match, but I'm going to say it again. If you can get some shots on people repairing, they'll basically instantly die. Like, I see people sometimes not do that. I mean, obviously the German player can't very easily do it because they don't know the repairs are going on there, etc., etc. It's on the fog of war, but I'm telling you, get some shots. That I was hoping for a rhyme there, but it didn't come fast enough. I don't think there's a rhyme that's in the offing for that. So the German player now capping the second fuel on this map. There are only 2 fuel on the map, so that's going to choke the Soviet fuel income to Jack Squat. IS-2 doing some bullshit, getting Raketened in the back and Panzer IV in the back, but it's just going to pull back a bit. So now this is an extremely even game, it looks like. These trees are burning forever, which is also a sign that God exists. That's effectively the story of Hanukkah for those of you who are in the know, the chosen people. Oh, give a holler if you're Jewish. Hey, what's this? We got another IS2 or IL2 loitering coming in. You know what the German player needs? Some of those fucking no loitering signs. Am I right? Give me a holler. Wow, that's they really went all out for the model. It's fucking glowing like a Ghostbuster thing. So those are definitely Ghostbusters. Who are you gonna call? Oh, there goes a plane. Oh, curtains for the plane. KPen97 says for every... Whoa, there goes the other plane. Jesus, bad day for planes. Did they activate the AA thing? Yes, he turned on anti-aircraft mode. And for good reason. There were aircraft flying around. You can't suffer an airplane to live. That's just not kosher. There's a cat, and the cat's playing with his little toy. Hi, cat. Okay. So yeah, stalemate, basically even. German player has only one Raketenwerfer, which is not a lot to fight in IS-2. I mean, obviously he's got the Panther IV too, but still not a lot. So German player, I'm thinking, is probably gonna invest in some AT or just pray really hard. One or the other. We do know God exists, because again, that steeple is levitating. But it's tough to know whether God's on the side of the Nazis. I think the jury's still out on that one. He is delivering America to them, but historically they didn't do so great, so it's kind of a toss-up. Vote now on YouTube. Do you think God supports Nazis? Please don't do that. YouTube is going to ban me. That would be bad. Dodd in Twitch chat says, I can't help to think CoH2 would have been a lot much better without the super tanks. Are you kidding? Super tanks are the only thing that I live for. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh god, if someone doesn't call in an IS-2 on one of these games I watch, then I don't think I'll have the will to live. But then somebody clicks that button, drives that motherfucker straight at the enemy, and boom. To be perfectly honest, I don't mind them too much. There was the King Tiger, if you recall, in the original Company Heroes, and even the Pershing was basically a super tank, and they were pretty similar to how they work in CoH2. Honestly, they were, if anything, slightly more bullshit because they only cost manpower to call in. And I mean, they do change the dynamic of the game. They are, like, I do understand people being like, oh no, it's a super tank, you just, like, nothing can kill it or whatever. But no, I think it's a fine thing for the late game to turn into. Sometimes the late game becomes this thing, your opponent's got this behemoth, and you gotta find a way to deal with it. I can sort of understand being like, I don't like how they come so often, like every faction has got one, and they're not so doctrinal, or there's a bunch of different super tanks. I guess I can sort of understand that if they show up too often for you, but I think they add an interesting dynamic to the game when they show up, and it sort of gives you a project to take out your opponent's super tank. It's it really refocuses your thinking on that one singular unit, and switches stuff up. So look, the German player got some good infantry damage with their own tank, not quite as much as the IS-2, which is now going to 1v1 this Raketenwerfer. But still kind of cool. KPen97 in chat says, I feel like people who say heavy tanks shouldn't exist in CoH2 are the ones who can't deal with them. I suspect that may be, oh my god! It's true. I suspect that may be right. And I didn't mean to say it's true, I meant to say it's a King Tiger! Oh man, 421, that's almost dank. Almost dank. That's one off from being dank as fuck, my friends. 420, blaze it. Marijuana is now legal in my state. We are in 2018, and I am in California, which means everybody is perpetually high. You might not hear it, but I'm high as a kite. I smoked the wacky tobacco, and I am now tripping balls. I feel like the King Tiger just shot the corner in front of the IS-2, and that's potentially game-losing. Not like it's terrible. I mean, things do miss in this game. That's how it's supposed to work. So it looks like both the IS-2 and the Panzer... Oh, no, Panzer IV is dead. About to say both the IS-2 and the Panzer IV are getting out. with a sliver of their health, but that was a lie. The Panzer IV are doing that cool cook-off thing that previously only existed in, that's right, Men of War Assault Squad 2. And I think Assault Squad. I think they do that. They might not actually do that. Whoop, that was a very short-lived funeral pyre, because the Sturm Pioneers are like, I'm gonna take some of my shit back from that tank. I lent that guy some boots. I'm gonna take those boots back. Why do they have an accent like that? I don't know. Let's redo that. I'm going to take back the boots. I lent the boots to the man in the tank. I want them back. Ach, mein Booten. KPen97 says, you got bored with CoH2. I'm still not bored with CoH2 after 3,000 hours. I didn't get bored with CoH2, I just hated it. Ooh, what is shooting this? Did they Faust it? They must have Fausted it. They have Fausts, right? I'm not going insane. Yeah, they have Fausts. Good. I always got to double check myself. I always have that little thing in the back of my mind saying, Tycho, you're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. I'm just kidding, I don't have that. I have one that says, Tycho, you're a genius. And it's 'cause I am. Oh yeah, guitar shred. I'm only saying this 'cause I'm high. Whoop, I just fucking whacked my microphone. Okay. So these guys just dropped, there's the frangible. So the frangible is the smoke grenade. I was lying when I said the frangible was the bundle grenade thing. The bundle grenade thing I was thinking of. Maybe it's called a Mills bomb. It's whatever the commandos have, British commandos. Here we go, mano a mano, KT IS-2. But the KT is getting reamed to the butt by a Su-76, a surprise MVP of the game, taking off a big old chunk of that Königstiger's health, forcing it to slightly reverse and then immediately go back into the fight because it realizes, wait, I can just one-shot that thing, can't I? Instead, it hurts the engineers. Look at you, you're down to half health. What are you doing? Rethink your life. Briefly decides to shoot the SU, doesn't shoot the SU. Briefly decides to shoot the IS-2, doesn't shoot the IS-2. Now it's going to be repaired by Sturm Pioneers, whose repair speed was recently nerfed along with the repair speed of the United States. Maybe everybody, maybe the vehicle crew and the rear echelon, or maybe just the rear echelon, or maybe just the vehicle crew. That's the sort of thing I should know. But we're good. That Raketin is almost dead. The thing, I mean. So we're 2 minutes away from when the cats are expecting dinner. But as you can probably tell, they've been expecting dinner for about an hour, so I don't think they'll mind too much if we go a little long. And this could get really bad. This could get ugly. Oof. I almost don't want to watch. I'm lying. I want nothing more than to watch. This is the second time that King Tiger has shot in front of the IS-2 rather than shooting it. I think there's somebody in that King Tiger who's a defector. The guy in charge of the rangefinder. He tells people his name is Hans, but he's actually Henry, and he's the one who had the accent. It's because he's an American spy. KPen says, 2 minutes and the OKW could lose. Right, yeah, maybe the cats will get their dinner on time. I don't think so. We've got these repairing people from the Mechanized Regiment headquarters having bothered to spring for this. These are now things you have to purchase. The indignity, having once gotten something for free, now having to pay your hard-earned resources to the man, the harsh man, that goddamn man. And we're finally getting a tier 4. Out from the Soviets, deciding maybe to spam T-34s, going straight after my heart. Probably just gonna spam tank destroyers, but that's probably the play. But I can always hold out hope for T-34s coming out the woodwork, can't I? Can't I? Born Confused 90 in chat says cat dinner pause for 5 minutes. I could pause the recording from my YouTube and pause Twitch, but the cats will be fine. They've gone longer without food. They're a bunch of needy motherfuckers anyways. We have a nice grenade in there, but kind of doesn't matter because the Maxim gets out, and that guy really booking it. Nice T-70 shot, takes out, or doesn't take out, just turns him into, I suppose, the crucified Lord on the cross. So again, more evidence that God exists. All those people on YouTube making all those fucking like atheist videos, just link them to this. Go into their channel and say TychoCelchuuu has proof of God in this YouTube video. If you don't refute it, you're a terrible internet atheist. That's my strategy in 2018 for getting views. I'll pick fights with fucking King of Sparta. What's his name? That guy, Alexander of Macedon? No. Prince of Macedon? I think his name is Prince of Macedon. Yeah, I'll pick fights with atheist YouTubers. And that'll get me the big views, and that'll get me the big bucks. And then I'll have a Twitch debate with Destiny, and be elected president in 2020. So you heard it here first, folks. Christ the Lord is risen. The Pancake5516 says huge views. Yes, huge views. At least 700. Feels like something to aim for in these days of nobody watching CoH2 videos, but I think CoH2 might enjoy a resurgence. We'll see. Look at those fucking scopes, guys. It's bigger than their ballsack. Oh, they disappeared. Wait, what? Did they get all the way over there? I hope they didn't dump in the church and immediately get killed without me using it, or without me noticing it. God. They must be over there. I feel like there were 2 squads of Obersoldaten and now there's 1 squad of Obersoldaten. I hope somebody was watching the mini-map and can tell me what happened. Also, I'm dying on the inside. So we do have T-34 spam coming out, so they didn't build the tank destroyer, happily enough. Unfortunately, the German player built a tank destroyer, and so now it's just a clusterfuck. There's really nothing to say. I'm just going to sit back and watch how this fight plays out. What's over here? Su-76 getting some side hits. Su-76 really, I think, the MVP. I think I may have said this once already. I think earlier I called it the surprise MVP. Now it's no longer a surprise. You should simply expect the Su-76 to be the MVP in these fights. It's gotten some sweet-ass side hits, and by the way, has made it up to Vet 2 without getting a single kill in the entire world, merely by plonking away at the side armor on these very oddly painted, oddly camouflaged tanks. T-34 being surprisingly sent to the left side of the map, trying to clear some of that out so it'll be safe for the infantry, but chicken's out, chicken's out. What I would love, because the Soviet player is not otherwise occupied, just micro it and squish these guys. When they're up against a fence or a building like this, it's actually relatively easy to squish a squad. If they hop in the building, then you can't squish them, but for some reason they hopped out, and so that means your opponent's probably not busy microing them, and you can crush. You can just crush those motherfuckers. I think the T-34 is probably the #1 tank to crush people with in the game. I'm trying to think of a better, maybe a Sherman is better to crush people with. Panzer IV is pretty good too because it's big, but I think the T-34 is just fast enough and maneuverable enough. Ooh, okay, you don't need to crush. Didn't have a chance. Yeah, that's a correct way of describing. T-35 mine over here. Oof, yeah, people in Twitch chat say there was a Vet 4 Obersoldaten squad that's dead, so maybe they hopped into the church and immediately got killed. These things, the side armor, not so good, so you gotta be careful. You gotta get it up to Vet 1 and cloak that thing. That's gotta be the play. 2 AT guns and now an IS-2 are gonna really read the riot act to this King Tiger, and the German player is losing squads left and right. This first grenadier is getting wiped out. If they kill the IS-2, they'll be okay, but it's looking worse and worse for the Germans, who at one point seemed to have the game in the bag until the IS-2 came out. Not even the arrival of the German heavy tanks seems to allow them to claw their way back. Dodd says, LOL, best crusher, like a Pringles sandwich. Can't say I quite understand the link between those two things, but you go, girl. Keep making those free association things. I am stoned out of my mind, so we'll just go ahead and say yes, that's totally correct. I'm not a huge Pringles fan. I feel like as a kid I was. These days, somehow too salty. I'm a salt fiend, but somehow too salty. So I was hoping the T-70 would be used to cap some stuff, but instead it's reversing at the speed of light. Does it get a speed boost? Yeah. No? Well, navigate the battlefield with ease. Presumably that's the speed boost. I wish Relic would put some numbers in these tooltips. Please just tell me what it does. Tell me what the veterancy does with numbers. Improve main gun accuracy? By how much? Rate of fire? By how much? If you're afraid of scaring... Look at that. If you're afraid of scaring people with numbers, put it optional. Put it in the menu. Green Cat of Meow in chat says, Tycho, how do you pet a cat? The answer is carefully and respectfully. Ooh, we have the Decisive. So this is, for those keeping score at home, the second match in a row I've casted on this map where a Decisive shows up. This is Wario Land 091385. Good. I approve. And Dodd said, when you get some time, you should check out Bill Bailey and find his Pringles gag. If that's a stand-up comedian, I probably won't. I feel like there are very few stand-up comedians that I'm a big fan of. I just don't find stand-up super-duper funny for whatever reasons. Richard Pryor, pretty good. That's it, I guess. I don't know. Something about stand-up just never really gets my goat grabbed. Doesn't grab my goat. My goat's not sufficiently seized. This is a RAM for the ages. Oh, T-34, you were so young and in the prime of your life. Where are the AT guns? They're coming. They're coming. Oh, the engine's damaged. I think that's curtains. It's curtains. It's got to be curtains. The T-70's like, I want to help. I want to help. But you don't help. This helps. SC said, I told you guys MVP. I told you MVP. And it is the MVP. Killed it. So German player at this point has lost the will to live, is now simply blob right clicking with the infantry. I'm joking. They have not lost the will to live, I don't think. Maybe they have? Yeah, they're busy microing over here, I suspect. Yeah, German player can easily take out this thing if the Jagdpanzer gets one good hit. And nope! Who called it? Tycho called it. Tycho called it with his mind completely addled by the devil's weed. And this thing is in capping mode. Wait, no, it's in combat mode. It's in sighting mode. It's in lookout. World, here I come. Whew! German player MVP in terms of shooting the ground in front of tanks. Green Cat of Meow says Bo Burnham is good. I like Bo Burnham, but I don't know. He's not amazing. He's not revelatory. Dodd says it's intelligent stand-up, not the oh I'm so silly. Excuse me. The oh I'm so silly is the only kind of stand-up I enjoy. Silly things are great, especially when you're high as a kite. Which I totally am, because I'm in California, and the new law says you have to be high 100% of the time. It's illegal to sell food that is not laced with marijuana, except for marijuana, which is okay if you don't adulterate it with marijuana, because it's already marijuana. Also Pringles. You can sell those unadulterated. I don't know, they must have lobbied or something. There were vines here once before, now there's just a single vine. The farmer's going to come back and be like, oh no, my vines, my life of blood. How will I make the wine to sell for the money to feed on my family? Let's get more stereotypical accents in this thing. What else can I do? Hello, I'm a person, and I like fish and chips. But a chip is really a French fry, and a lift is really an elevator. That's half Australian, half British. Could you tell? It's somebody whose father is Australian and their mother is British. Green Cat of Meow says, can you sound Chinese, aka Asian? No. I can say I know one word. No, I probably know a few more than one word. I know one word in Chinese that isn't the word everybody knows, which is like meow or whatever. I can say gay wool, and gay wool means like give me that thing, I think, or something. Basically, all I know is that if I'm with a Chinese person and I point at something and I say gay wool, they'll hand it to me. So it's like a superpower, really. Born Confused says, can you do the Scotch Korean accent? No. Born Confused says, Checkpoint at Arnhem? Italian accent? Checkpoint at Arnhem sounds like a movie I haven't seen. The Italian accent is, I think, what I was trying to do with the Vine thing. Oh, a French accent. How about that? Oh ho ho ho! I like the vegetables to be cooked too much. Oh ho ho ho! Until they are so soft. Oh ho ho ho! And then, is this another IS-2? I feel like I should have been paying slightly more attention to the video game. But if if we look at the map and also at the manpower, we can tell that the German player is in some deep shit and can only spend munitions on artillery flares, because this is a doctrine where you don't have a cool off-map artillery or plane bombardment to call in, which I think is a big mistake. I think all doctrines should... The only doctrines you use should be ones where you can dump your munitions into big Hail Mary strafing runs, because that is exciting and destructive, and this Stuka has 10 kills! I guess that's not surprising. We did see it wipe out like 3 or 4 people in this bombardment, 4 or 5 people in this bombardment. You add one more bombardment and that's 10. And it's firing again. Well, that's the end for Jesus. He had a good run, but we all know Jesus was not long for this world. That was part of the deal. And rest in pieces, Jesus. That almost rhymed. So SU-76 doing some MVP bombardment, MVP of the match, I'm telling you. And this is why you get something you can dump all those sweet, sweet munis into. They come in and strafe and pin and do some good damage, whereas all this guy can do is call in some fucking artillery flares over here. It's like, oh, look, now I know where the AT guns are that they're kicking my ass. Don't you wish you had some fucking airplanes flying around and doing some bullshit? Soviet players at 36 munitions, you're at 923. That's what happens when you don't have a cool munitions sink. That plane was flying dangerously low. Oof, oof, the strafes, the strafes! The strafes are real. So this IS-2 took some big damage from those 2 tank destroyers. Those 2 tank destroyers took some huge damage from the Su-76, the AT guns, and the IS-2. But ultimately, it was an inconclusive fight. Everyone can go back, lick their wounds, and try again. T-70 gets the second place MVP. The Soviets doing really good with standout units this match. The Germans, I suppose we could give MVP to the Jagdpanzer with 2 kills and 4 vet, but there's no need to. There's no need to. I already have 2 MVPs for the match, the T-70 and the Su-76, which is good. And we're getting another T-34 coming out. Will it also bravely sacrifice his life by ramming one of these tank destroyers? Let's find out. Born Confused in chat says 3 minus 4 plus 4 minus 5 times plus x equals 10. Yes, that was the math on the Stuka Fuse, which is up to 12, and still no vet. Notice I'm very obsessed with tracking veterancy in this game, just because I find it interesting. Here's something you can use your munitions on. This sort of little, well, no, it's not. It's so confusing. The Volksgrenadiers have infiltration. No, it was the infiltration assault. I lied. Oh, that's the end for that tank destroyer. That's what happens when you drive into 2 things. Oh, kitty cat, I got good news. This game is almost over, which means it's almost dinner time. The cats are going to have cat food for dinner, so that's the plan for them. Okay, so the German player loses. The other cat wants dinner, so they can sense it. They can sense the food. I can sense the excitement in chat for Tycho going away, so they can start talking about important things. And when I come back, I'll be twice as stoned, because the cats will be stoned. All the marijuana is in their food now. Thank you for watching this on YouTube. If you watched it on YouTube, thank you for watching it on Twitch. If you watched it on Twitch, and if you're watching it some other way, you're some sort of evil wizard with wizard powers. So don't hex me, bro.